Just don't make any excuses. We used to all the big time again today.
Now we're live and we have sound. We can say hi from Fairview Farms.
Well, do you want me to do you want me to turn it on the guests?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's ready. We're just going to talk. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fairview Farms on this magnificent afternoon for golf. We've got the Torrington Lettermans Club Golf Tournament going on today. I'm your host, Tim Gaffney from Litchfield County Sports, joined with my good friend, Mr. John Nestor, out here on an absolutely perfect June afternoon. John, I'm thinking they had to ask more for this, right? Big price.
Absolutely. Fantastic weather, great day for this event, and all for a good cause.
Absolutely. You know, some of our favorite folks out here from from Torrington football. I know we're going to have Gaetan Rodriguez in one of the foursomes today. They invited me to play, John, and I blamed my knee, which I'm going to do for about the next 5 years on whatever comes up that I'm just not good at. I'll just say, we'll just come up and talk to people, but we're not going to do anything else aside from that.
I hear you. The game's a little rusty. Mine as well.
There you go. Well, how have you been? How's spring treating you?
Very well.
In the summer.
Good weather, finally. We've had a good spring. It's been pretty exciting locally for us. You know,
Yep.
a lot of things going on. Thomason with another championship run that was really exciting. There's no other way to say it. I mean, it's a popular narrative, you know, when you get a team like this, but there was really no way to put that team away. And I mean, you saw it in the semis, being down to their last strike with tying home run, and then, you know, the championship game, you get down 6-0, you sort of shrug your shoulders and say, all right, you know, nice season, but not that team, and they battle back and win the state title. And to think of the year that school had between basketball, cross country,
Right.
and you know, a program maybe cross country and track that gets a little bit lost in the shuffle. Just 2 weeks ago, Sabrina Olson caps an outstanding career with a steeplechase state championship down at the Coast Guard Academy. So the icing on the cake of an amazing year for one of the smallest schools in the state.
270 kids, and I've always figured there's like 5 of them that are not athletes because, you know, there's so many incredible athletes at that school. And, you know, as you were talking about not being able to kill the bear, which our buddy Rick Wilson kind of, you know, coined that phrase, but 6-0 when I'm at that final, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, yeah, 1-0, 2-0. We've seen people come back from that, but 6-0 down is not something you expect in a state championship game. You need to get a little help. I've never seen 4 consecutive fielder's choice options. You know, Old Saybrook got one of the 4. You know what I mean? You never see that because the pitcher did exactly what you wanted. She got the ground balls. Unfortunately, the runners just beat the throw.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes with softball, baseball, and at this level, put the ball in play and put the pressure on the defense. You know, don't help them out swinging at bad pitches. If they make outs, then tip your cap. But you know, Old Saybrook wasn't able to do it, and if, as we've learned, you give Thomason a second chance, that's a problem.
Right, and you know, the same group of kids that we saw, especially Abby Hurlbert with the .06 seconds in the second overtime to hit 3 free throws, and I mean, talk about, you know, ice in your veins when you get to that point and you're that cool. You and I were both there. I never doubted any of them. When you just saw that confidence, you were like, she's gonna make all 3.
Oh, you definitely, having seen her through the years, thought so. It was a little dicey. You know, the first one switches, second one gets some ram, the third one uses a little more iron. But yeah, you did think at some point we're headed to overtime. And what a senior year and what a cap to a great career for Abby. to win 2 state titles in 1 year, in a career,
Right.
that's phenomenal. But in 1 season, and to see her grow as as a role player and then a contributor and then a take charge player, as an outstanding cap to a great career.
Well, this Monday night at Applebee's, we will have the Litchfield County sports program on the road again, and we will have the Thomaston softball team, and we will have the part of the basketball team also, because they're both one and the same 5 or 6 kids that were on the basketball championship team are also on the softball team, and that winning pedigree is just outstanding. Rick Wilson, as a teacher at Thomaston High School, he will never experience anything like this again. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing where your whole school, like you had said, and this is a team without a track. You know what I mean? And it's never had a track. They just run around on Route 6, and they still end up, just doing an amazing job. So you can't kill the bear, that's for sure.
No, amazing job. And don't forget baseball. Bobby McMahon taking the girls to the title, taking his baseball team to a state championship game. Came up hot pitcher and bowed out in the Class S title game, but he's done an outstanding job there. He's won a state title a few years back, taking his team back again, and that added to an amazing spring. Having like you said, a school of 271 send 2 teams to state title games in baseball and softball, outstanding accomplishment. And it speaks to those kids. We talk to those kids. They embrace it. They love the town gets behind them.
Right.
I mean, it's a great scene all around.
What how many times in your life or in my life have fire trucks taken us out of town and in town, from to and from? And I thought it was a good sign of sportsmanship when the girls invited the baseball team to travel back on the bus with them, even though they had just come off a loss, because the boys traveled from Middletown down to West Haven to the girls' game, and that we saw all during the states. Whenever they could, they would go back and forth to each other's games. So it didn't surprise us that that's how they ended up acting, because that's just what they do. That's what they just do in Thomaston. So, well, we've got some guests coming up here on the program here. We've got Rob Botas in the house. I know that, and the other gentleman, I probably know him, but he probably needs to say hi and introduce himself anyway. Get the microphone on there.
Hi, Brendan Abbott.
Mr. Abbott, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Oh, our absolute pleasure. How much did you have to pay for this weather? I'm just asking.
We were just talking about it. This is the best weather we've ever had when we've had this tournament. This is year 5, and there was always either the threat of rain, or it was raining on us, or last year I think there was actually a microburst that came through the area.
Okay.
And Route 8 was closed, and we were kind of shut in right after we got off the course. So this is fantastic.
You were shut in at Fairview Farms.
With the CAG guy.
You could have had a harder day, right?
Tough day.
Yeah, you guys are integral in the creation of this program. You're both lifetime members,
Yes,
from what I understand.
Yep.
And you guys just do incredible work for this year for Gaetan Rodriguez, and we love supporting what you guys are doing. What's your mission? What's your objective today?
So today, this is our main fundraiser of the year. We get most of the folks out that support the program. Most of the people that are here today have been supporting since day one anyway, and it's our goal to show you solidarity as a group and make sure that we continue forward. So we should have a great fun day today. We have a raffle going on inside with some great prizes, and we'll raise a little money and put it towards what the program needs.
Talk about your days back at Torrington High School, opening holes for the one and only Davey Holiday, right?
Yeah. So it's funny. We actually got quite a bit of recognition. I think we're on.
Yeah, you got it. Give him that one, Johnny. There we go.
Yeah, it's funny. Usually linemen don't get a lot of recognition, but that particular year, our senior year, we were in the paper quite a bit, and so we got some pub. But it was good. We didn't have to do a lot of work for Davey. If we gave him a crease, it was all he needed. He had so much talent. So.
Right. Yeah, I just met him the first time at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and he looks like he can still play. And whenever you hear of a guy that runs for that many yards and that powerful, you're still looking for the 6'4", 270-pound guy. But that's not him. He's smaller than
height. He was small in height, but
yeah, big.
Really big,
yeah.
Really fast, and really tough.
Talk about your days, Brendan, in Torrington High School.
I played with Rob, and actually Rob and I played with probably a bunch of years since we were 10, 11 years old, all up through midgets. And so Davey Holiday was with us. So I was a quarterback. I was a varsity quarterback for a couple of years, and got to play with Davey. It was great, and again, just the team itself. I mean, it's fantastic to play with that team, and we're really proud of it. Absolutely.
As you guys continue to watch what's going on at Torrington High School right now, I was amazed at how little time it took to demolish the field and the track. It takes like 4.5 minutes. Like what's going on in Southington today, where they knocked down those 2 bridges on 84 in a heartbeat, and they put the new ones in. How exciting is that for you guys to envision in probably October, hopefully by mid to late October, playing football on a turf field?
I'm just thinking back to the days when we played and the ground was frozen and there was a lot of pain. I remember that. So having a field that you didn't have to worry about big patches of mud. I mean, these kids are really fortunate. I'm very happy for them. It should be a great facility going forward in the future.
We're aging ourselves here. I'm sure we were the last team to play at Fusenage Park as well. So we played our career through Fusenage Park, and then our senior years, we played the first game on the field behind the high school when we played Plainville in the middle of the year. So we played most of our career under the lights at Fusenage Park on Friday nights. That's when we played most of our
years were this?
We graduated in 1988, so we played.
The 87 season was
87
our last
season was our last.
And you played the first season at the Cross Complex?
Yeah, I remember they dedicated they played. They had a trumpeter at Cardello played the trumpet, and they dedicated the field that day against Plainville.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, who'd you play, and what do you remember about opening the complex?
Winning. We definitely won.
I remember I had
what happened. You know you won.
I know. I remember that.
I had a dream fulfilled that day. I was on the kickoff return team. I was part of the wall, and we always had a plan. If it came short, because behind us was the Holiday and whoever else was back there. If it came short, we had our own plan. And I caught one of the kickoffs during the game, and I followed our plan. I went up the sideline. Some kid from Plainville hit me so hard my shoe came off, and I had to go out there for offense. I couldn't find my shoe. My helmet was probably on sideways. I mean, that's all I remember. What I don't remember.
Yeah. But you kept it. The memories of what you. Fusionist Park. Go back to that. I mean, to this day.
Yeah, it was great playing Fusenage.
I mean, the field obviously was from like where third base is now out. Is how they set up the football.
Right. Crossing to right field. Right?
Okay.
Crossing
to right field. That had to be amazing.
Yeah, we had great crowds, and there was a great icy wind that would come off the river. I mean, that was a cold place to play. Also, again, partial infield, and I mean, it was a tough place.
Go back in the Oakland Raider days, right? You go. Anytime I watch a football game now, and they're going across the big, it's so few now that have that happen. It just reminds me of good old-fashioned football, because for you guys, as you're whatever yard line you're on, all of a sudden you're on the infield. So your blocking scheme and everything else has to change, because now you're on dirt as opposed to to grass and the rest of it. Let's talk a little bit about where Torrington football is, right now. Obviously, a tough year. A couple of years ago, brought Gaetan in last year, and I think he pretty much straightened out a whole bunch of things, including character. He didn't just have characters anymore. He had kids that had character, and also just I think reestablished the program pretty well. How pleased are you guys with what you're seeing?
Well, I think it's first and foremost the fact that he has made it very clear that's his position, his platform is that's where it's going to be all built off of that foundation, that there's going to be character and integrity, and it's going to be about hard work, and it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a long grind, but because he's been through the program, he's from the town, I mean, he knows what it means, and he knows what kind of love the town will show him when these kids become successful. So it's part of paying our dues. That's what we did. Right?
I would say, I have to be honest, I moved up to Massachusetts, and my knowledge of Torrington football is like on the periphery, but I did, when I first graduated from college, came back and was coach Torrington Midgets for a while, and Torrington high school football as an assistant coach for a few years, and I coached Gaetan. When he was a running back, and I think he was really, I can't remember when it was like, I don't remember when it was, but it was somewhat recently after I graduated college, and he was, he was a good player. He had a lot of heart, and so I'm glad to see him there. I haven't seen him since he's been a named assistant coach.
Is he playing?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we'll take a grab on him before you guys head on to course. The objective on the course today, is it always just don't get hurt and have fun?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that my foursome has always finished last in this tournament, and I don't know if that says anything about my integrity or my lack of skill.
Not last in terms of fun. Yeah, I don't care about the score.
Okay, so as long as it's fun, this first, we don't really care about the golf end of it, because Scotty invited me to play, and I'm blaming the knee surgery I had at the beginning of the year for the next 5 years on anything I'm not good at. I'm going to say, the knee, it's still a little bit creaky, because all I know about golf is I don't play very well. I love driving the cart, and I can drink with the best of them. So we have some fun.
That's what we do. That's our foursome.
Well, you are the best at that.
We are the best.
Not about the golf, so you might be higher up.
We have our priorities straight.
Absolutely. I mean, on a day like today, in a June where normally we've had 5 rainouts in local baseball by now. It didn't matter what league was. We've gotten lucky. Yeah. We're going to pay for it. I know, because we had a lousy spring, and we'll probably go hot as Haiti in July and in August. But for guys like like us being able to cover what you guys are doing. It's an absolute, thrill for us because you guys are doing this for the right reason. We all love being out on the sidelines on a Friday night, Saturday afternoon, watching football, and the rest of the programs are not as fortunate, I think, as Torrington of having something behind them. So many budget cuts, so many things where a lot of times we hear, well, we're going to cut sports. It always seems to be the first threat. You know what I mean? And, what I have learned about, sports and doing this for about 15 years now is that's what we create our future leaders, is people being part of teams. You guys all still being friends and all still being, connected, no matter how far away you are. This is what you're helping build now, right?
Absolutely. I know in my own personal example, I teach leadership at my company. That's one of the things, and I can go right back to the foundational days at Torrington High School playing for Bruce Kaznets and the lessons my dad taught me. This is where it began, and that's why we're doing it. We know how important it is to young men's futures.
Sports absolutely builds character, and especially with football, I think even more so than we played obviously other sports in high school. But football, uniquely builds a lot of character, and again, I think Rob and I think anyone that played certainly for Coach Kaznets, where we can play, we played our career, all were high quality characters by the time you graduated because you weren't playing there if you weren't. So
right.
That's
and
the way
because of you guys had good character, you could also be a little bit of characters too, right? That was half the fun too. I mean, Coach K looks like he could still get out there and do something when I saw him at the Hall of Fame dinner. I mean, that was a lot of beaming pride that day, having all you guys back there, having Gaetan there and the rest of it. I think he was trying to have Gaetan talk to some of the players afterwards because, Davey Holiday's story was one that could have gone either way. You know what I mean? Where he wasn't necessarily from the best part of Torrington, could have taken a couple of steps in the wrong direction and not ended up where he was. And I think he credits Coach K a lot with keeping him on that, straight and narrow. Is that what you guys remember?
Yeah, and I think, so opportunities are, no matter what it is, if it's sports or if it's music or it's education, whatever your opportunity is, you have to take it. But it's also the personal decisions that you make. So someone like Coach K that had that influence and that respect, that would help you form your decisions. You would think about, what would Coach K do in this situation? What will happen if I make the wrong decision?
Right. He held everybody accountable, no question. And again, I'm not surprised that Davey's done as well as he has, and again, a bunch of other guys, again, because I think the fact that he stayed with the program allowed him to do what he did. If his decision to sort of leave the program probably would have put him on a different path. The fact that he stayed is a testament to him, but then, again, I think everyone that sort of played through that, again, I think they're all pretty much, people of good character. They really are.
There's something about playing on a line, too, isn't there? I mean, no other sport.
I wouldn't know.
What did you play?
I was a quarterback.
You're the quarterback. Well, you needed them. So.
Absolutely. I just don't know what it feels like to play on the line.
You had to back up from the line.
Yeah, I backed out. I had no contact practice.
But I mean, that is such a unique thing in most end of sports. Aside from rugby, you would figure being that shoulder to shoulder with the next guy and having to know, the different scheme that you were running and what you had to do. I mean, how was that on the line? I mean, you guys, like you said, you never get credit, but you did that year. And I think we tried to do the same thing with Brendan Litton because we knew he was not creating all that stuff on the outside and the inside by himself. He was getting good, blocking. Talk to me about what it's like to be a lineman.
Well, it takes a tremendous amount of heart and trust. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. You have to trust that the guy next to you, let's say the assignment's going to be a combination block on the defensive tackle. I have to know that the guy next to me is going to give me enough of a push so I can get my head around, and he's going to scrape off and get the linebacker. But we did these drills over and over. We were in the weight room over and over. So after time, you knew you could depend on them. You could just say a word under your breath in the line right before the snap, and you knew that what was going to happen.
Okay.
So it was a tremendous amount of trust in each other.
As a lineman, talk about the pride you take when you have a running back that has gaudy numbers or the quarterback that puts up a lot of passing yards. That's the sexy stats, but it doesn't happen without the play in the trenches. Is that something you guys hang your hat on when you have success behind you like that?
Yeah, I think that's. I always loved reading the quotes in the paper, and if they did not mention the line, I knew inside that I was part of that. And every once in a while there might be a picture in the paper of Dave or Brendan scoring. Because we ran the option. Brendan scored a lot of touchdowns and ran a lot of yards too. And we'd be laying on the ground with people on top of us. Like I was part of that. So but there's definitely some pride being involved with that. And I think one of the good things that teaches you is humility.
Right.
Later in life, there's a lot of things that will happen that maybe you're a small part of the scheme and you don't get credit for it. You know what you did. You know how hard you worked.
Yeah, core of the team. There's no question, right? I mean, you can't win football games without strong lines, and so that was certainly a difference maker for us that year. And I think another thing that Coach Kaznetz did, and I believe the program still has a very, very, very strong weightlifting program. So
Yes.
that was one of the differences that we had. But I mean, the line was, I think, a decent size, but again, very, very strong, right? Blowing holes wide open. It makes it, again, when you're running the option too, right? Off the ball, the line moves 2 or 3 yards, right? So you're running uphill because the line's moving forward. Makes it a lot easier than people getting pushed back and you're starting the option going backwards. We're starting the option always leaning in. If we really got stopped, we might have 3 yards because, right, we're already leaning forward. So that was.
And most of the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver goes into the end zone, does the little dance and the rest of it, and you're normally laying down.
No dances.
No dances for you guys. But I mean, your role.
Like a
That's
coach
probably,
would tolerate
No.
too much showboating.
no. That's probably a good example of life. You won, but you still were flat down in some cases. So your greatest victory sometimes was your guy you were blocking was down, and so were you.
Right, and so the people that helped us up were our brother linemen,
right,
and the receivers and quarterback are all congratulating each other. We never made it to that celebration. We'd have to see them.
I saw a lot of them on my back too. Believe me, I saw a lot of them.
Oh, they made it down there to the end zone, right? You guys could always.
Not your quarterbacks.
Yeah, I took some pitches, and again, no contact in practice, but Friday nights and Saturdays are full contact. Believe me.
You got it. Well, listen, gentlemen, we're going to let you get over there and start celebrating. I know in about 20 minutes you guys are going to do the team picture, and then 2 o'clock do the shotgun off, and you will be in contention, hole 1. No question. Everybody teams off even. You're all good.
We already won.
We already won. No question about it. But a pleasure seeing both of you guys. Thanks a lot for coming on, and we will see you down the road.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Nice
Hey, nice meeting you guys.
Nice to meet you too.
Have fun out there.
Thank you. You want us to look for any other folks?
Yes, Scotty or somebody. Who else you got? Is Gaytown? Did you see Gaytown too?
He may not be here. I heard something that he may have on the side of the coach something today, like an all-star game or something. So I'll try to
There's
find
that
out
thing at
also.
Rancho, the coaches high school association. They have their
He
like
may have
100
decided to
game.
do that, yeah. So I'll find out.
Desmond Langs is playing in it.
Oh wow. Okay.